like Tsinghua, Beida. These sort of big universities are becoming very attractive for students around the world. Made in China is now becoming more recognizable with its global brands that it is producing. My name is James Maurer. I work at Niagara College in the International Division. So before I went to China, I mean, growing up in sort of suburban Canada, we really don't have much information about China at that time when I was younger. I was exposed a lot to obviously sort of Chinese food, Chinese kung fu movies. Of course, Bruce Lee is an excellent sort of spokesperson for China. You know, other than some very, very basic knowledge, there wasn't a whole lot that I knew prior to going to China. And again, that was one of the reasons I chose China, is because there was so much I could learn there. I really tried not to have preconceptions about what China would be before I arrived. Obviously, when I got to China, I was very pleasantly surprised. I remember flying into Shanghai, getting on a bus going from Pudong Airport to Hongqiao Airport. That was my first sort of on-the-ground exposure in China, and it was wonderful. A very good experience, yeah. Wuhan, a wonderful city, really friendly people. Great food, obviously, is a huge attraction there. Wuhan University, I have nothing but good things to say about that university. Location-wise, it is probably one of the most beautiful universities in China. University, of course, the cherry blossoms are very famous there. I think overall, I mean, you can see that Chinese universities are becoming more and more world-renowned, right? So you might like Tsinghua, Beida. These sort of big universities are becoming very attractive for students around the world. When I started studying at Wuhan University, it was, I think, at a fairly early time when Chinese universities were inviting international students. And now you can see a huge attraction, and especially from African countries, Asian countries, European, and even a lot from Canada and America. Students are finding many good reasons to go to China and study, and I think it's important because it's an opportunity to learn about China and Chinese culture, and the language is very important for that. Because as China grows and there's more business being done internationally, it's very important for education to play a huge role in world development. The more that we can have educational exchanges between students here going to China or Chinese students coming here, the better we are for the future, where we have more understanding and more connections together, which is what we all want. In my work, I've visited many institutions across China, and from both sides, even from us, Niagara College, we are open to learning, and we find that Chinese partners, universities and colleges are also very interested in our educational system, especially with the college, right? The applied learning model is something that is developing very quickly in China, and you can see that there has been a huge investment in education, and Niagara College feels very fortunate and very happy to be part of that education with students, with partners in China, to help share what we've learned here in terms of applied education. My first exposure to Chinese brands were, of course, in China. And it's interesting, right? The brands that I learned about when I was in China, when I came back home, I started seeing them more here in Canada and obviously all across the world. So, you know, like Haier and sort of TCL and the TVs that you see, the smartphones now, you're seeing these brands being sold more widely around the world, and it's been an interesting change where, you know, when I was growing up, you wouldn't see there weren't many famous brands coming from China, but the massive development that's happened, you can see it now. I mean, even my brother talks about the Xiaomi phone and how good of a phone it is. It's affordable. It has all the features you need. So these types of Chinese brands are getting more and more exposure to the world, and we're learning more and more about them. Made in China is now becoming more recognizable with its global brands that it is producing. So you'll see it more associated with higher quality goods. In China, I'm sure from now until 2035, which is a very important date, we're going to see huge increases in the amount of development and innovation coming out of China. And especially as more connections happen between education, and we can learn from each other about best practices on how an educational institution can work with industry, I believe that will play a big part in pushing for more innovation.